We are live on YouTube, on Facebook. Let's get the Instagram running. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Alrighty, we've got Instagram in the house. This is going to be a really good live. Let's get TikTok up and running. Good morning, TikTok. This is the daily, the morning report from the Working Actor NYC. Yesterday was a day of adapting. It was a day full of rearranging plans. We're dealing with a family emergency, which requires immediate travel. And our podcast is normally live on Saturday. That's no longer practical because I will be in a hotel room on, Saturday afternoon. I will not be in a hotel room. Saturday afternoon, I will be in somebody's house. So I could pack up my microphone and digital interface and everything and take it out to the heartland states with me, but we changed plans. We recorded yesterday afternoon, recorded it. I'll edit it over the weekend. I'll still release it on Monday, different process, same outcome. And there's something reassuring about realizing that the plan can change without everything falling apart. Nothing reveals how imaginary your perfectly organized week is, quite like a family emergency. And appropriately, the podcast that we recorded yesterday was about exactly that. You know, what happens when acting and life want the same piece of the calendar, But something that Patrick said has stayed with me overnight. He was talking about how some actors are really good at clocking out at the end of the job. Good morning, friends. This is the daily, the morning report from the Working Actor NYC. Good morning, Solaberry. This is your spot for real life stories, strategies, and insights into the daily life of a working actor in New York City. And I would love to hear from you where you are in the world and what you're working on in your acting career today. And here's what went down in mine. We recorded our podcast yesterday afternoon, which was a change of plans for us, but we had to adapt because we're dealing with a family emergency. And something that Patrick said has really stuck with me. Some actors are really good at clocking out. They are excellent actors, but they treat acting very much like a business. They arrive, they're prepared, they do excellent work. They leave and they go live their lives. Acting is their profession without occupying their entire consciousness. And I find that fascinating, maybe even a little enviable. There are actors who finish the show, take off their costume, go home, and apparently stop thinking about the show. What is this witchcraft? Good morning, Cole Anthony. Good morning, Slav. Thanks for being here. Let me know what you're working on in your acting career so we can get into it. But importantly, those sorts of actors aren't less committed. They aren't lesser artists. They may actually have developed a very healthy relationship with their work. So, question for the chat, can you clock out creatively when you're done working? Are you done? And the reason I ask is because good morning, Solarberry. Good morning. Thank you for being here. Let me know, can you clock out creatively when you finish the work? Are you done? And the reason that I ask is because I can do that sometimes. I think I can do that when I don't care very much. Is that bad and wrong? Is that bad and wrong, or does that resonate with you? If it's not a job I'm particularly creatively invested in, oh, Cole says, I have an 8-month-old baby who takes all my mental capacity once I clock out. That is real, Cole. That seems absolutely appropriate. Oh, how adorable. I 8 months old, they're so I mean, they're just little eating and pooping machines, eating, sleeping, and pooping, but but still adorable. It's wonderful. I mean, gosh, there is nothing like being able to make an infant laugh. It's just one of those things that makes your heart explode. Uh, it's like a drug. Once you make an infant laugh, you just spend your whole time trying to make it happen again. um, but yeah, I can clock out when I'm not particularly invested in the work. I do my work well. I am a professional. I collect the check and I go home. No existential crisis required. I have discovered that I have an excellent work-life balance when I don't particularly like the work. There are some shows that just don't speak to you, and you're there to get the health insurance weeks. And the problem for me is when I love it, when it's a great role in an interesting project. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I love this sweater. If there's something like in the project that's creatively juicy that I haven't solved yet, that's when I want to think about it. That's when I want to talk about it. I might suddenly understand something about the character when I'm making coffee. Oh, in my Working Actor NYC coffee mug. Oh, which is dirty. I guess I spilled this morning. Oops, my bad. There we go. That's not necessarily the job invading my life. That can be pleasure. That's if I'm thinking about a role in the shower because I'm excited about it, I'm not sure I need to file a complaint with human resources. It's it's just observing that. Okay, the good boy 93 wants me to get into something sexual with them, so I'm not taking that bait. Trucks, I'm a big fan. There you are in the chat. So just so that you're all aware, we are live on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, and on TikTok. So I do have split focus, but I will try to catch up with the chats when I can. Good morning. I am live on TikTok today. Isaac here. We're right here, right now. Just try. Yes. There we go. That's replied to that. All right. Trucks, I'm a big fan. They left. Okay, cool. But we did get into this on the podcast yesterday when we were discussing how life makes us adapt our careers and our careers adapt our careers affect our lives. It's this idea that we have careers to facilitate our lives. We don't have lives to facilitate our careers. On one level, I completely agree with that. Money supports a life. Work shouldn't consume every relationship. A career shouldn't become the only source of identity or meaning. If everything else has to continually surrender to the career, eventually there isn't much life left for the career to support. But acting makes that equation complicated. That's what I think. Because this isn't a career that I accidentally ended up in. Oi, 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 Bay Harbor Runner. I didn't spend decades fighting to have an acting career so I could become really good at not caring about acting, you know? Because it raises this question, what if your work is one of the things that makes your life good? Oh, yo is trying to get me to say racist stuff. Wow, yo. I'm used to the bots and the trolls trying to get me to say sexual stuff, but now yo is being a racist, trying to get me to say racist stuff. That's a new one. All right, we got rid of them. All right. We talk about work and life as though they're natural enemies, like, work over here, life over here, and build a boundary between them, to protect one from the other. But thing, what if the career, what if making things gives you enormous pleasure and satisfaction? What if your collaborators become your friends? Rehearsing makes you feel like you're doing the thing you were meant to do. You're excited to go to work. You'll happily do more of it if somebody would let you. Acting doesn't just finance my life. Acting is one of the things I wanted my life to contain, you know? Hi, friend you. Welcome, Indonesia. Thank you for being here. I appreciate the support and the likes. Let me know what you're working on in your acting career, friend you. Yeah, acting doesn't just finance my life. Acting is one of the things that I wanted my life to contain. I don't necessarily want a perfectly balanced life. I want a full one. Does that make sense? Does that resonate? Does anybody else? Vaseline. Hi, Thailand. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Vaseline is practicing their English skills. Welcome. You're very welcome. I try to speak as clearly as I can, so hopefully that helps you with your comprehension. But here's where I think I've grown up. Passion about what I do for a living is not the same as consumption. You know, thinking about the project after rehearsal does not equal unhealthy. Oh yes, Thailand. Khop kun krap. Sawadee krap. Noreen is watching from the Philippines. We've got Randy from Indonesia. Let me know what you're working on in your acting careers. And if you struggle with this sort of work-life balance, I don't know if balance is the right word. It's not like if I talk about my work excitedly, that doesn't necessarily means that it's unhealthy. If you're enjoying the chat, give me a follow. I would love to have you here on the regular. Um, Vaseline, I'm originally from Australia and I currently live and work in New York City. This is the Working Actor NYC. And the daily right here, right now is my morning report on what I'm working on in my acting career in the last 24 hours. And this is your place for real life stories and strategies and insights into what the daily life of a working actor in New York City looks like. This is it, my friends. So yeah, like being passionate about what I do for a living is not unnecessarily unhealthy. The question is, what is it displacing? Am I still present with my family? Am I maintaining my friendships? Am I showing up for my friends and family? Am I sleeping? Am I able to enjoy something completely unrelated to acting? Can something else matter without secretly resent it for stealing acting time? The problem isn't that the work comes home with you. The problem is when nothing else is allowed through the front door, you know? Let me just check in with some text messages. Let's see where we are on Instagram, still here. YouTube and Facebook are still here. TikTok. Hi, Sham Knives. Thank you for being here. Oh, Thailand went to Tasmania. I've never been to Tasmania. Is that crazy? Every day is working, Hans. I know, but if you love what you do, then that's not a problem, right? Oh, it's so fascinating. There's so many of you here, but don't have very many likes on the live. That's interesting. Normally the likes on the live go tick 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 tick, but not today. That's super interesting. How are you doing, Sham Knives? The other danger that I think happens for actors, just to get the conversation back to acting, the other thing that I think happens to actors is that we start protecting a career that isn't even happening. It's not like we only sacrifice life for. Thank you, Thailand. Have a great day. Thank you for being here. Kop kun krap. Actors don't only sacrifice life for actual jobs. Sometimes we sacrifice life to remain available for hypothetical jobs. We can't travel because something might come up. We can't commit because I might get an audition, and I know I've done that. We can't make plans because I might book something. And this is the struggle that I come up with my family all the time. Now that I've been a working actor in New York City for over 25 years, and I have noticed that there are patterns that my career goes through. So, my family is now recognizing, oh, January is a good time to organize a family vacation because Benjamin's likely to be free. But you have to be very careful about sacrificing something that's actually happening for a career opportunity that currently exists only in your imagination. It doesn't mean always take the vacation. It means recognize when you're choosing. Cole Anthony says, it must be incredibly difficult to come through New York City as an actor. I guess the Big Apple is the place. It's not the only place, Cole. But it is certainly not the only place, but it is a much easier place to be an actor because all the theaters all over the country come to New York City to find their talent. Obviously, that's changing with digital self-taping. The digital world has changed that algorithm slightly, and people are finding it much easier to live away from the city because they can still submit their auditions online. But there is still in-person auditions and callbacks happening every day. A lot of the studio work is here. A lot of the studio work is here in the city if you're doing TV and film. So it certainly helps to be, if you don't live in the city, to be in close proximity to the city, because you do have to be able to get here on the double. Thanks, Rich Love 8. Thank you, Meme Therapy. That's very sweet of you. I appreciate the compliments. We're still low on likes today. I'm so surprised by that. Well, when we have such a lot happening in the comments, it's interesting to find that there are not a lot of likes on the ticker. Hi, Philippines. Thank you for being here. Let me know what you're working on in your acting career. Somebody just asked me how old I am. I'm 55 years old, and I've been a working actor in New York City for over 25 years. And I think I'm better at this sort of life work. I don't want to call it balance, but equation now. Not because acting matters less. I mean, I think it actually matters more to me. But I don't need every acting opportunity to prove that I'm an actor. A project can be incredibly important without becoming the most important thing in my life. Thank you, Hans. I try to take care of myself. How old are you? Hans. And I certainly don't think I've become less ambitious. Those of you who've been around for a while know that that's not true. I think I've become less willing to confuse ambition with emergency, you know? Oh, awesome. 28 was when I moved to New York from Australia. Let me know where you are in the world, Hans. You know, younger Benjamin believed that every opportunity needed protecting, and current Benjamin can say, I love this. I desperately want this. I'm going to give it everything while I'm here, and I can still leave. Does that resonate? We've got Mexico in the house from Meme Therapy. Thank you, Mexico Meme Therapy, for being here. Meme Therapy, are you an actor as well? Oh, Hans is from Indonesia too. We got a lot of Indonesia, Philippines, Thailand. Oh, Cole is asking, what of your previous work could you say you're most proud of, if possible? I love jobs that use every part of my acting skills, everything that I've developed over the decades of being an actor, and I love it when I get to use all of those skills. I remember when I was 28, Hans, just like Hans, when I was 28 years old, I did Les Miserables for the first time in my life, the musical, and I remember being so fulfilled because it required me to use everything that I had learned as an actor up to that point. It required everything of me to be able to do that. And I felt so fulfilled by that. And I remember having a similar feeling when I got to go on for the lead. I was understudying Jim Parsons, the famous actor from Big Bang Theory. I was understudying Jim Parsons in a musical called A Man of No Importance off Broadway. And Jim got COVID and was out for 10 days, and I got to go on. And playing the lead in that musical was another experience where I felt like I needed to bring everything that I had learned as an actor onto the stage with me. And there's something incredibly satisfying about that. And I was very proud, and it affected a lot of people, and people were very complimentary about the work that I'd done. And it's one of those situations where those are two jobs that spring to mind as being some of my most satisfying work and the work that I'm most proud of. Oh, thank you, Hans. Thank you, Kamba Smile. I'm doing great. Welcome. Thanks for being here. So just to bring it back to what we talked about on the podcast yesterday, and Patrick brought in, the example of he knew people who were able to clock in and clock out for the work, that works for them. And I'm not sure it's what I want. I don't actually want acting neatly contained in one little compartment of my life. I love it too much for that. But I do want to be the person deciding how much space it gets. Obviously, here I am every weekday at 8 a.m. talking about the daily life of a working actor. So clearly it's important to me. And, the career is supposed to be part of the life. It isn't supposed to become a replacement for one. I want a big acting career, and I want a big life. The work is figuring out how much room to make for both. Does that resonate for you? Let me know if that resonates for you. Oh, the chat's gone quiet over on YouTube and Facebook. Let me know, YouTube. Are you still over there? You've gone quiet. I get suspicious. Meme Therapy. I have been to Mexico. I was touring with the musical Mary Poppins, 10 years ago, and we spent 3 weeks in Mexico City. I've also been on vacation to Playa del Carmen and visited Chichen Itza. So I love Mexico. I can't wait to go back to Mexico City. I am really looking forward to going back to Mexico City. There's so many interesting restaurants. There's so much culture. There's so much history. I think I'm dying to go back to Mexico City. I'm sure there are other amazing parts of Mexico that I haven't discovered yet, but I'm dying to go back there. Cole says, I heard Tom Holland mentioned recently about clocking out as he had taken a 3-year sabbatical. Yes, when you're a world famous A-lister movie star, you get the option of choosing when you get to be involved in your career and when you can. Oh, Laura Ann's back. Good morning, Laura Ann. I just let everybody know what we talked about on the podcast yesterday. Mary Poppins is a beautiful part of my life. It gave me my second Broadway credit. I got to play the part keeper on Broadway for a while, so that was my second Broadway credit. Hello, AR. Miss Gemini from the Philippines is here. What did you miss, Chili? Our podcast yesterday will be publishing the edited version on Monday. As I was explaining to everybody, I had a family emergency this week that requires me to do some immediate travel. So we had to adapt our podcast schedule, and we decided to record it yesterday afternoon, and I'll edit it over the weekend, give it a light touch, and we'll be posting that on Monday, as we always do. So you haven't missed it, Chili. You'll just have to watch it on repeat. Oh, thank you for the repost, Laura Ann. That really helps. If anybody would care to share the live with their friends, please do so. That always super helps. What kind of role would you like to play when you before an A-list actor? Meme Therapy is asking me. Correct. I am not an A-list actor. I am a working actor. That's exactly why we're here. Hi, Columbia. The roles that I love to play, Meme Therapy, are the roles where I get to create something unique, where I get to create something that feels like a part of myself. I call these my wheelhouse characters, and they're characters that I know I can bring a part of myself and be excellent with. H93B2, thank you for the gift. Oh, it's the gifts are really helpful. Thank you. Oh, and Ian Christian sent rose. Thank you for the roses. All of those gifts really help the live. So thank you so much. I really appreciate the gifts. That's very generous of you, and I love it. Thank you. It looks like we got some Vietnam in the house. Colombia's in the house. Yes, Helen Ho from Vietnam. Thank you for being here, Helen Ho. Meme Therapy, would you play something like a superhero in a Marvel movie? I don't think so, Meme Therapy. I don't think that is where my wheelhouse lies. I think there are some actors who are clearly superheroes. I think where I excel in the Marvel universe is as the smart servant. I am going to be the superhero's right hand, who is the support network, maybe the one who fixes the tech, maybe the one who has the deeper fatherly insight. But that's my role. Smart servant is my role in a Marvel movie. Cole is asking, what's the one piece of advice you had received that has stayed with you throughout your career? The piece of advice that I wish I had learned sooner and had applied sooner was show up as the solution. I would often walk into auditions trying to be what they wanted. And the more I showed up as myself, the better solution I created for them. Thank you, Ian Christian. From the Philippines, Angeles City, Pampanga, Philippines. Thank you for being here, and thank you for the gifts. I appreciate them. So I wish I had, instead of trying to fit myself into what I thought they were looking for in the audition process as an actor, the more I showed up as myself, being able to say, this is how I see the role, and this is what I'm excited to present to you. That is when I showed up as the solution to the casting question. That was when I started booking more interesting roles, being a solution for casting directors. So that's what I wish I had learned earlier in my career. Laura Ann understands exactly what I'm looking for. Laura Ann, I am a late bloomer, and I'm not afraid to say that out loud and share it. It always seems to take me a little while to work through my process and then realize uh, what the what the lesson is. So it takes me a while. Meme therapy, exactly. I am the Alfred to Batman. Exactly right. Oh, H93B2 sent gamer press start. Thank you so much for those. Wow, H93B2 is sending me some blue pill, red pill matrix environment stuff. Oh, Jazri, you are on the Working Actor NYC. This is the spot for real life stories, insights, and strategies about your acting career. And if you've ever wondered what the daily life of a working actor in New York City looks like, this is it. Let me just check in. Instagram is good. YouTube and Facebook are ticking along. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate all your support. Jazri, where in the world are you coming from, and what are you working on in your acting career? Bilad is back. Hi, Bilad. Thank you for being here. Please share this live with your acting friends. This is the spot for them. Oh, Laura Ann says, finding place here in my area to keep my acting sharp is also harder than it looks. I hear that. So then I'm super interested in that, because I've had some coaching clients ask me for advice about this, and I would love to hear about your experience, Laura Ann. The Zoom classes, I know some people find some of them effective, and some people find some of them too isolating to be effective. And I'm wondering if you have any insight about your experience with that. You take a lot of Zoom classes. Yeah, yeah. I've done a lot of, sorry, there's a family message I need to respond to. I I take both the casting director workshops on Zoom, and I take the casting director workshops live and in person. And I can honestly say there is a better interaction with the live and in person version. It's not that I don't get anything from the Zoom classes. I just find them less personal. There's less interaction. I enjoy sharing the space with other actors, and improv is definitely better in person. I can't imagine doing a Zoom improv class. I don't know. There's something delicious in the details of the immediacy of it. I guess because that's the thing that I don't necessarily trust the immediacy of a Zoom class. So I feel like I don't know, is there delay? I feel like I'm still dealing with delay in Zoom. The timing isn't necessarily spot on. Maybe that's not true anymore, actually, now that I think about it. No, I switched my reader. I used to have my readers when I was doing a self-tape. I would have my readers on Zoom, and that's when I really noticed the lag or delay in response time. And so I've now switched my readers to FaceTime, because I find that better with the immediacy. But maybe that's changed. I do all of my coaching via Zoom, so but then immediacy is not necessarily the problem. Cole Anthony, do you have any plans of stepping behind the camera or stage into a creative role? I have written material, but that's often material in which I see myself acting as well. Um, so I so I don't have any plans to move into being a director. I enjoy writing because it's another part of myself where I get to express what it is that uh, where I get to express what it is that I want to say. But I don't have any plans to become a director. That feels like one of those paths where I would have to really focus and concentrate on it. Maybe I'm misguided. If somebody's, if I was working at a theater and they said, "I think you'd be really good. Would you direct this blank for us?" I think I would do that. I think I would 100% do that if it fit with my schedule. Because there's also something delicious about being there for the rehearsal process and the tech and then being able to walk away. It's a smaller time commitment, but I think I would certainly get some satisfaction from it. Amy is making a YouTube channel to learn English and would love support. Oh, Laura Ann says, being able to read off of others and play with my energy room is much better, right? Yeah. But most of my classes are in Cali, so Zoom FaceTime is about my only option, 100%. Yeah, I get that. I get that. Um, where do you find your online classes, Laura Ann, if you don't mind me asking, and if you don't mind sharing, if you don't mind sharing with your work with the rest of the class, I'd be interested to hear what your favorites are with those Zoom classes. Hola, Noel Correa. Thank you for being here. I appreciate your support. Hi, Isaac Kier is back. Thank you for being here, Isaac Kier. Over on Instagram's let's see. Yeah, Laura Ann, if you don't mind sharing, I'd be interested to hear which classes you found in Cali over Zoom you found to be helpful. I had a very specific coaching request from a person of color who was like, I just need to feel, because the local acting class that was available to them did not feel like a supported space. So I am a voiceling. My teacher is Tara Strong when a community of voice actors. Oh, a voiceling. Sorry, I read that wrong. I'm a voiceling. Oh, cool. Tara Strong for voice work. Love that. For voice. Yeah, see, this is the interesting thing. It's kind of similar to me, like, is it the sort of the question about being a director. I kind of feel as though voice acting is going to require like a good solid couple months of me getting very, like, ignoring all everything else and getting clear about where my lane is, my lane would be in the voice world, and creating materials around that. Oh, Richard Horvis recommended Diana, Patrick's teacher. Nice to meet you, Noel from Honduras. Thank you for being here. Yeah, we got to talking about that on the podcast yesterday, didn't we? Because Patrick recognized straight away. Yeah, that was really cool to recognize that connection. That was awesome. All right, friends, I have a plane to catch this afternoon, so I have to get organized here. My puppy is passed out, but she has to go over to daycare. And I've got to clean this joint because we have people coming over while we're not here. Thank you, Laura Ann. Traveling mercies to all who are traveling today. And I will be back here at 8 a.m. on Monday. I will be. Hi, Maxine. Thank you for being here. I appreciate the follows and the likes. Please share the podcast with those of you you love who are working on their acting careers. It's always a super big help for the live and for the channel. So please feel free to share and like. It was great to talk with you, Cole Anthony. Kiss that sweet 8-month-old from me, and congratulations on being a daddy. I think that's just absolutely talking about the balance between career and life, that is absolutely what the career is for. So congratulations on that journey in your life. I will be back here at 8 a.m. on Monday morning. I will be clocking in from Indiana. So we'll see you then. I'll keep you posted on how things are going. All right, my friends, remember, wherever you are in your acting career, you got this. Keep going. See you on Monday at 8 a.m. All right, my friends, thank you for being here. I'll see you here on Monday at 8 a.m. Bye for now.